It seems like just another normal day in the city until suddenly a traffic jam breaks out, causing frustration among drivers. A businessman has stopped his car right in the middle of the street because, for some unknown reason, he's gone completely blind. A group of bystanders approaches to help, and one man offers to drive him home. But as soon as they arrive and the businessman gets out, the supposed helper speeds off with the car. He's a thief. The businessman is left stranded and disoriented, but the thief soon returns, pretending to be someone else offering help. This time the businessman doesn't fall for it. Once he's safely inside his apartment, he angrily kicks the thief out. A few hours later, his wife arrives home. When she realizes her husband has lost his sight, she takes him to see a specialist. Since it's an emergency, the doctor lets them skip ahead in line. Unfortunately, no matter what equipment he uses, the doctor can't find any physical damage or signs of illness. It seems neurological, something he's never seen before. He advises them to go to a hospital for further testing. After the couple leaves, the doctor keeps seeing patients, including a child, a woman wearing sunglasses, and a man with an eye patch. Meanwhile, the thief is driving the stolen car around town, trying to avoid the cops, until he too suddenly goes blind and is forced to pull over. He ends up asking the police for help, but when they take him to his old home, his ex-wife refuses to let him inside. Later, the woman with sunglasses goes to a hotel. After ordering a drink at the bar, she heads upstairs to meet her client. The encounter goes smoothly at first, but afterward she suddenly panics when her vision turns white. That same evening, the doctor enjoys dinner with his wife. Everything seems fine until the next morning when he wakes up blind as well. He immediately calls the hospital to warn them, especially since the child he saw the day before has also lost his sight. The hospital takes the warning seriously, and soon reports start coming in of more cases spreading across the city. The government begins taking steps to contain the outbreak. The doctor's office is shut down by authorities, and he's taken into quarantine. His wife, unwilling to be separated from him, pretends to be blind too so she can stay by his side. They're brought to an abandoned asylum, now being used as a quarantine facility. It's empty and understaffed, no doctors are staying with them, only armed guards outside. Each ward has a phone for emergencies, but only one representative is allowed to use it. Soon more blind people arrive, including the thief, the sunglasses woman, the child, and the businessman. The doctor and his wife decide to keep her sight a secret. By pretending she memorized the layout earlier, she acts as a guide for the others, helping them with basic needs like finding the bathroom. During one outing, the thief walks too close behind the sunglasses woman and gropes her. She retaliates by kicking him hard in the leg with her heel, leaving him badly injured. The doctor and his wife bandage the wound using only a torn shirt since no medical supplies are available. That night, the doctor's wife worries about the wound getting infected and about the risk of her own vision failing. While her husband tries to get intimate, she avoids him and goes for a walk to clear her head. The next morning, more arrivals are brought in. The businessman reunites with his wife, while the young boy mourns the absence of his mother. When the doctor and his wife ask the guards for medical help for the thief's leg, the soldiers refuse, threatening them with rifles until they return to their ward. Not long after, they receive their first food delivery. It's barely edible, more like prison rations, and there isn't enough to go around. The doctor's wife tries calling for help using the emergency phone, but no one answers. Only a machine where she leaves message after message requesting food and supplies. Weeks pass. More and more blind patients are sent in, and conditions quickly deteriorate. The doctor's wife sets up a clothesline to act as a guide between wards, but the chaos is impossible to control. People stop caring about hygiene, wandering around naked and relieving themselves in the hallways. The businessman tries to cheer up his wife by reminiscing about their younger days, but she doesn't want to think about happier times. One afternoon, the doctor's wife overhears a noise and discovers that the man with the eye patch has been secretly listening to a radio. She convinces him to share what he's heard with everyone. He explains that at first, the government handled it by locking away the blind and ordering everyone else to stay home. Specialists worldwide held endless conferences but admitted they had no answers. Then the experts themselves went blind and the illness spread overseas. Chaos took over the streets. People tried to ignore lockdown orders, but soldiers arrested anyone outside. The city collapsed into disaster. Car crashes were constant and even planes were falling from the sky. Eventually, people stayed inside out of fear, leaving the city like a ghost town. Now even the government is powerless, with leaders blind as well. Days later, a large group of blind patients is delivered to the asylum. The soldiers show just how ruthless they've become by shooting a man who simply stepped out of line. Panic erupts and the crowd surges inside, trampling each other and smashing doors. The soldiers don't even collect the body afterward. The doctor's wife asks the guards for a shovel so they can bury the dead. The soldiers mock her, tossing the shovel into the middle of the yard and refusing to help. Since she must act blind, she fumbles around for it while the guards laugh, until she finally finds it and flips them off. Meanwhile, the doctor tries to coordinate with other ward representatives about burying bodies and rationing food. Tensions rise because one ward is taking more than their share. A man known as the bartender grows tired of the doctor's leadership and declares himself king of Ward 3, announcing that his people will eat freely before even considering helping with anything else. The doctor's wife checks on the thief, whose wound has now turned into a raging infection. As she tries to comfort him, he suddenly threatens her, revealing he knows she can still see. Terrified, she rushes back to her husband and breaks down crying. The thief, overwhelmed by pain and unwilling to suffer any longer, drags himself outside and forces the soldiers to shoot him. Racked with guilt, the doctor's wife considers telling everyone the truth, but her husband insists she keep it secret. He worries their marriage has changed into more of a caretaker and patient relationship. Before long, the bartender teams up with an accountant from his ward, a man who has been blind since birth and knows how to manage in these conditions. Together they find the asylum's administrative office and use the PA system. The bartender declares himself king of the entire asylum, and his first rule is that food will no longer be free, people will have to pay for it. The rule sparks outrage and fights break out near the food storage. To enforce control, the bartender reveals his trump card. He's smuggled in a handgun. With a warning shot, he sends the crowd scattering and cements his power. From now on, Ward 3 controls the food supply, and anyone who tries to steal will be shot. Some people think about refusing to go along with the new rules, but when the enemy has a gun, it's too risky to resist. The doctor's wife begins collecting whatever valuables she can from the people in her ward, jewelry including wedding rings and anything else people have in their pockets. She secretly keeps a pair of scissors she finds in a woman's bag. The kid doesn't have anything to contribute, but Sunglasses Woman, who has taken on a motherly role for him, promises to cover his share. At the food storage, the accountant uses his experience as a lifelong blind man to identify the quality of the items people bring. No matter how valuable the jewelry, the bartender only hands out a couple of meal boxes per ward. He threatens anyone who complains. The rations are so scarce that people are forced to share single-portion meals. The doctor withdraws, feeling defeated and unable to lead against a man with a gun. Sunglasses Woman notices his despair and tries to comfort him. In the process, the two end up being intimate on the floor. The doctor's wife catches them in the act, but instead of creating a scene, she tells Sunglasses Woman her secret, that she can still see. She asks her to keep it to herself, letting guilt do the rest. A week later, when everyone runs out of valuables to trade, the bartender announces that women will have to pay with service in exchange for food. The doctor's wife confronts the soldiers to demand why new supplies haven't come. They tell her they've given all they had, and rationing is now the asylum's problem. Back in Ward 1, an argument breaks out over what to do. The doctor puts his foot down, saying no one should be pressured. If a woman wants to volunteer, it's her choice, but nobody else can judge her. After much hesitation, one woman steps forward, followed by others, including the doctor's wife and Sunglasses Woman. The businessman's wife also insists on going, despite his protests. He tries to forbid her, but she reminds him she isn't different from the others. The accountant collects them and takes them to the food storage, where they endure a night of brutal abuse. One woman is treated so violently that she dies. The next morning, the women return carrying the body, determined to clean her and give her a proper farewell. Later, the accountant has the audacity to stop by Ward 1 to congratulate them, joking that one woman didn't move much. They don't even realize she was dead. Furious, the doctor's wife tells him the truth, leaving him speechless. Her anger boils over. She takes the scissors she's kept hidden and heads to the food storage while Ward 2's women are being used as a distraction. Seizing the moment, she stabs the bartender to death, then drags the women away as the accountant retrieves the gun and fires wildly, but none of his shots land. On her way out, she makes her own announcement. If they don't release the food, more men will die. Now she declares she's the one collecting. The doctor worries this will spark a war, and he's right. Ward 3 barricades itself and refuses to share food. Ward 1 prepares for a fight, but before battle begins, one of the abused women decides to take her own revenge. She had hidden a lighter in her pocket all along. Sneaking into Ward 3, she starts a fire. The flames spread quickly, killing many of the men. Panic erupts, and the doctor's wife guides everyone outside. Strangely, no gunfire comes from the guard towers. The soldiers are gone and the doors are unlocked. That can only mean one thing: they're free. The doctor, his wife, the kid, sunglasses woman, the man with the eye patch, the businessman, and his wife decide to stick together. They head downtown and find a collapsed society. The city is a wasteland. The few survivors left attack each other for food, hunt stray animals, and even eat human corpses. The doctor and his wife leave the group in a bar for safety while they search for supplies. At a market, desperate people claw at the nearly empty shelves. Because she can see, the wife finds a stairway to a storage room and fills bags with goods while the doctor gathers clothes. But the noise gives her away and the mob pounces on her. The doctor rushes in, shoving people aside and shielding her as they run. Once safe, she breaks down while the doctor goes back to retrieve the dropped clothes. During this moment, a stray dog wanders up and bonds with her. Rain suddenly begins pouring, and she takes the dog inside a church to wait for her husband. The church is crowded, its statues covered at the eyes, while a priest preaches endlessly. Outside, people rejoice in the rain, drinking and washing for the first time in ages. The doctor returns with the clothes and the dog joins the group as their new companion. Back at the bar, they eat their rations and rest. The next day, they continue through the city until they reach the doctor and his wife's home, which they offer to share with the group. Slowly they establish a routine. With the wife's vision guiding them, they clean the apartment, share clothing, and only leave to hunt for food. When it rains, they collect water and bathe. The man with the eye patch grows close to everyone, calling them his family. The businessman's wife finally reconnects with her husband, reminiscing about their younger years. The doctor and his wife repair their marriage too, the stress no longer overwhelming them. Weeks later, during breakfast, the businessman suddenly cries out in shock. Just as suddenly as he had gone blind, his vision has returned. Joy spreads through the group as they realize the blindness may not be permanent after all. Their bodies can fight it off and hope is restored. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos like this. Thanks for watching.